Let's get ready to rumble! Paddy's gearing up for the big fight with this cracking offer. Sign up today and get a risk-free £10 bet on either Mayweather or McGregor to win and get your money back if your bet loses. New customers only. Max refund £10. T&Cs apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
A carnival, a freak show, a circus or a fight. Whatever you want to call it, Mayweather-McGregor is happening on Saturday night. The bookies are taking bets and there's money to be made. I'm Jack McCarran and I'm joined by the Racing Post resident combat sports expert Dan Williams, and live from Vegas we're joined by Paddy Power. Paddy, we understand it's your first time ever in Vegas, which is unusual for a man of your standing in the gambling world, but what's the atmosphere like over there so far, and how have you settled in since you arrived in Sin City?
Well, I've been here for 2 nights now, and I'm still alive, which is probably longer than I expected to go. I think I've probably given myself a bit too much runway before the fight, to be honest. It's a bananas place, and the reason I've never been here before is that I never really trust myself to come, and now I understand I was right. But anyway, that's besides the point. But I see Dan's got a new title. I thought he was boxing expert. Now he's combat sports. It's the combat sport, is it? But the atmosphere over here is brilliant. I mean, I don't know what it's normally like, and I guess it's still early in the week, so it's only going to build and get better and better by the time the weekend comes. But what's really struck me is like Vegas is big, and the casinos are massive, and it's really intimidating, and like it's just you're kind of walking around going, "Jake," because you've got a crick in your neck from looking up all the time. But this fight is everywhere. Like every bar I've been in, which is many, every taxi I've been in, all that kind of stuff, every casino, people are talking about, they hear your accent, say, "Oh, you're Irish, are you here for the fight?" Yeah, the fight. Just all the fight. Like everyone's talking about it. There's plenty of people are saying, "Oh, it's a joke, I'm not going to watch it because I love boxing and this is a disgrace," and da. But most people are just just talking about the fight. Now, everyone Americans that I've met in Vegas, which is a lot of people, obviously, they all think that Mayweather's a penalty kick. Like, they're just saying, like, your man has no chance. Like, Mayweather's a world champion. Mayweather, he's not popular. It's not like they're saying, "Oh, I love Mayweather." They're saying, like, "I hate Mayweather, but he's definitely going to win." Do you know what I mean? So he's kind of created. It's weird. The two of them have created a brand for themselves, I guess, in their sport. Both are kind of similar enough in that they've both been the villain, and that's one of the reasons why they appeal to people who are their own fans and people who aren't their fans who want to see them get beat. So it's a really interesting. It's like I've seen an interesting sporting event. And you said it there in the intro that it's like most people would have said this is a circus. Like when you see the ridiculousness of those the press tour beforehand and all that kind of stuff, getting up and roasting each other with the microphone or whatever in front of a huge crowd of fans. It's kind of a bit ridiculous and it's a bit showmany and all that kind of stuff. But then the reality is, like you said, this is like one of the biggest betting events of the year, not just in boxing, but of the year. Like, there's going to be so much money about it. And every time you turn on the TV over here, there's some expert from some sports book somewhere in Vegas saying, "Oh yeah, this is going to be bigger than the Super Bowl," and all that kind of thing. And everyone's saying the same thing. Like, 90% of the bets or 80% of the bets they're taking are on McGregor. And so McGregor winning is actually going to really, really take the pants down, not just of us and the bookies back home, but also the sportsers over here. Everyone's just backing McGregor. I guess his odds are better, but you could definitely argue that it's a terrible price on McGregor and a great price on Mayweather, I guess.
Paddy, the bookies must be rubbing their hands together. The bookies must be rubbing their hands together with all this money coming on McGregor. And you've already paid out on Floyd Mayweather. Like, there is no chance really whatsoever that McGregor can get this done. But I seen Dave Payne-Purdom, who's a gambling journalist for ESPN, he tweeted last night that as of last night, there have been 277 bets on Floyd Mayweather at the MGM Sportsbook, and there have been over 6,000 bets on Conor McGregor. It's absolutely insane when you consider. Dan, you wrote in your column on the racingpost.com last night, McGregor is a shorter price than boxers such as Marcus Maidana, Miguel Cotto, Zab Judah, Andre Berto and Victor Ortiz were. They were all considered bigger underdogs. Manny Pacquiao is around the same price. This is a boxer who's a novice. He's never fought before. Dan, you're an avid follower of both boxing and MMA, so we'll get your opinion on the fight first.
I mean, like the thing that Conor captures the public's imagination. He's such a confident speaker, Jack. He comes on and he convinces people he's going to do a job. He convinces every single time. And for the first time in Floyd Mayweather's professional career, I think, he's in a situation where we watched all these press tours going on all around the world, 4 cities in 4 days. And yeah, of course it's a circus. Of course it's a carnival. Of course it's WWE. But for the first time in his career, Floyd Mayweather suddenly isn't the main man. He isn't pushing a promotion. McGregor's the one everyone's looking at. But whatever Mayweather comes and tries to do, McGregor's got an answer to. He's the one pushing it. He's the one being the alpha male. And how is that going to reflect on on how Floyd's going to take the fight. And I think that is what's capturing the public's imagination. And every single time we've seen Conor do this in the UFC, and every single time he backs it up with his performances in the ring. I mean, when he won his first UFC title against Jose Aldo, he was in with a guy who hadn't lost a fight in 10 years. Aldo was meant to win the fight. He was the favourite. McGregor goes in and knocks him out in 13 seconds. And the reason why that's important is because I'm not trying to say Conor McGregor can knock anybody out instantly. Like, it's not as if he's got like cannons on the end of his fist necessarily, but he got into Jose Aldo's head before that fight, and he convinced him he was going to do something, and Aldo came out and he didn't stick to what he usually does. He came out there and he rushed McGregor and did something stupid, stuck his chin in the air and got knocked clean out. Could Floyd Mayweather fall into the same trap? And that is what the public's imagination has been captured by. And McGregor seems to back it up every time. Will he back it up this time? It's a long shot, but we just don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, there's no doubt it's captured the public imagination. It's a crossover event. No matter what sport you enjoy or don't enjoy, everyone's talking about this. I'm a boxing fan, first and foremost, but I also have to admit I'm a bit of a stickler for the WWE myself. So things like this get me excited. Crossover fights. Exactly. I'm excited. Everyone's excited. But most importantly, I suppose, who's going to win? You mentioned, or Paddy mentioned, that everyone in Vegas is saying Floyd's going to win. I'd be in agreement with that. Paddy, if you were having a bet on the outcome, I suppose it has to be Floyd.
Yeah, I think that's the sensible thing. Now, you were saying, like, we must be rubbing our hands, but we've been here before. Like, we've been here before with, like, Donald Trump for president, with Brexit, all these kind of things that we think we know better because we think we know the odds, the stats, the opinion polls and everything, but it hasn't worked out that way. This is probably different because there's a real fighting record there. But then Mayweather hasn't fought for so long, you know. So it's, yeah, like, honestly, sorry, what am I even talking about? Like, logically, Mayweather has to win. It's almost impossible to see any other way. And it's, yeah, I'm not going to be recommending somebody back him at 4s on, but, like, it probably isn't the worst one to stick in your queue at the weekend, your football ACCA or something like that, because it's probably a 25% bonus that you wouldn't normally get. His odds his odds are 120 when we priced this up mythically. Remember at the time there was a mythic, McGregor said it on Conan O'Brien or something. He said, I'd dismantle Floyd Mayweather, and then there was no even talk of the fight actually happening. We all thought it wouldn't happen. We priced that up just for kind of for publicity reasons, just saying, okay, 1 to 20 Mayweather, and I think 7 to 1 or 8 to 1 McGregor or whatever it was. And even back then there was a few bets on him. But you got to think about it, like, most of the bets on these events happen in the day or two leading up to it or the day of it. So we're still only a fraction of the way towards the total amount bet. And you got to think that the McGregor tide is just swelling, you know, and there's going to be more and more and more on him. I think there's a lot of bookies in the industry who are a little bit, no, he can't possibly win, but it's kind of shifting nervously in their chairs. But my view is that if you're looking for a decent bet on the fight, I think Mayweather to win in the later rounds. And I'll tell you why, because I actually do think that there's a few lines were probably crossed in the ridiculous media tour beforehand. Like, there's a few things said, and there's a few kind of itches that need to be scratched. And I'd say Mayweather, on behalf of the world of boxing, has to dominate and has to almost humiliate McGregor in the ring. You know, so I think he's going to probably, if he's well on top. Like, I've been reading up some articles about it. I'm not an expert. I've been reading up all the articles on Mayweather's career and his fighters he's fought against, saying that he just dismantled them, like, over round after round. The frustration of not being able to hit him ducking out of every single, and just getting you with a counterpunch all the time. And if he does that with McGregor, like, McGregor could tire because the fight will be a lot longer. And then later on, I'd say he has to win by knockout. I think he has to ultimately beat him by knocking him out or TKO or something, stopping the fight basically. But I think if he could choose, he'd choose to do it like in round 10 or something like that, just so he makes his point, proves that boxing is better boxing is better at boxing than MMA, and then knock him out eventually, or have the fight stopped or something. So I think Mayweather to win by KO or TKO is about 4-6 shot, and I also think Mayweather, if you could group up the rounds of say 10, 11, 12 or 9, 10, 11, 12, you're probably getting about 6 or 7 to 1, which wouldn't be the worst bet, I think. Yeah,
we'll come on to round betting and specials after the break, but Dan, just straight win.
Well, Jack, we all know Floyd Mayweather should win this fight. He should easily win this fight. He's fighting against a complete novice. The guy's never had a professional boxing match in his life. But Do you know what? I'm sick of hearing experts falling over themselves to say Conor's got no chance. Of course he's got a chance in this fight. And if Floyd Mayweather falls into the trap of thinking Conor McGregor doesn't stand a chance and he can just walk in there and turn up and get the victory, well, he's taking a big risk here. Like, if Floyd Mayweather wins this fight by being his usual boring self, like making sure that he doesn't get hit and don't fall in the trap of taking Conor McGregor to war, because if he does, anything could happen. And the way he's been talking, and I kind of tend to I agree with Paddy there. Like, I think like he really wants to go out and make a statement. I think his pride was hurt a little bit on that pantomime world tour thing, and I think he really wants to make a statement for himself, for boxing, to put this guy in his place. Like Conor, and that is really falling into the only chance Conor had is turning this into a war. He can't think for a second, and I'm sure he doesn't think for a second. He can go out and outbox Floyd Mayweather. That will not be his tactics. He's got to go in there like the martial arts expert that he is, and fight him like a martial arts expert, but with using his fists. He's got to, like, I tell you one thing, I don't think a lot of people appreciate what a phenomenal athlete Conor McGregor is. He is an incredible athlete. His movement, his strength in all sorts of different areas, and his technique is absolutely exceptional. But the key to McGregor winning is using his movement. He's got to use unorthodox movement. He's got to do things that Mayweather's never seen before, and he's got to completely bamboozle him and go from him from that first bell. And well, like you said, we'll come on to round betting in a minute, but I think we could see a war from the start, Jack.
Yeah, I just have to be honest here. I'm conflicted. In reality, I think Conor McGregor has literally no chance whatsoever. No chance whatsoever. There's no argument, in my opinion. But I'm not going to get into that in a minute. But I am conflicted slightly about the result. Because if this is a genuine sporting contest, which I have my doubts, I think it's just a cynical money grab, really. But if it's a genuine sporting contest, I think Mayweather wins within 6. I'm not sure, probably by TKO. He hasn't knocked someone out since Victor Ortiz in 2011. But if it's a work, which I don't know, maybe it is, and they're gunning for a rematch, who really knows? It's been such a circus up to this point, so I don't really know. Maybe Mayweather carries him for 12 rounds. McGregor lands a couple of punches, but it's just a complete bore fest and a stinker. But we get a rematch. It's so hard to know whether this is real or
I think it's completely. I think we're going to get a genuine fight. I tell you what's really boring was watch me staying up all night to watch some of these Mayweather fights that have just. I don't know why I should have just gone to bed in the first place. But I think we're going to get a real good event here. I think we can expect a proper fight, mate.
Okay, well, we'll see Saturday night. We'll go for a quick break and we'll come back and we'll look at some of the specials on Paddy Power and some of the round betting.
Let's get ready to rumble! Paddy's gearing up for the big fight with this cracking offer. Sign up today and get a risk-free £10 bet on either Mayweather or McGregor to win and get your money back if your bet loses. New customers only. Max refund £10. T&Cs apply. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
Welcome back to the Racing Post Mayweather McGregor Postcast. I never thought I'd say that when I started working for the Racing Post. But anyway, we're going to look at some of the specials Paddy Power have on offer. Some round-by-round betting. Paddy, you mentioned that you'd go for Mayweather in the later rounds, maybe 9 to 12. Do you have a price for that handy? And is there any other specials you'd like to mention?
Yeah, so that'll be about, I'm just trying to group them here. It's about a 6 or 7 to 1 shot for if you group up those rounds. And I think that's kind of where I'd be going. Because I agree. I don't think this is going to be one of those. I know we're saying McGregor has to catch him with an early knockout punch or something, and maybe that's the case. But I don't think it's going to be one of those ones where if you're at the fight and you nips the loo, you're going to go back and it's over. I'm not sure it's going to be that. But like both fighters are like obviously very fit and well. Mayweather hasn't fought for a long time, but it just everything you read about him suggests that he's an absolute animal in terms of fitness and specimen and everything. So I would say that both have the potential to go quite a long distance, and I think ultimately going into this like 2 weeks ago, I thought this was all going to be a big setup and it's going to be a rematch and all that kind of stuff. Now I don't believe that at all. I actually think that this is a proper event, event and it's a proper fight. It's there. It's a money-making grab, of course. But at the same time, we all want to see it, and everyone's betting on it. So it's obviously been successful from that perspective. And I just think Mayweather will get into a rhythm, and I think he'll just dominate McGregor. To be honest, overall, I think McGregor will come out as having been, I don't mean to sound passionate, but having been brave and strong, and there'll be mutual respect there and everything after the fight. But he'll probably come out very frustrated, and like we saw with the likes of Ricky Hatton and people like that, where they go in like all busy and trying to land punches, but Hatton comes out looking like he's just been through the ringer, like, and Mayweather comes out all smiley without a mark on him. I think that could be the case again.
Yeah, the Ricky Hatton fight is a real point I've been looking at in the build-up to this, because Ricky's saying Conor's saying the same things Ricky said. He said, I'm too big, I'm too rough, I'm going to rough up Mayweather. And to a point he did, but eventually he was just completely outclassed and ended up face down in the middle of the ring. Similar thing could well happen to Conor on Saturday night, early hours of Sunday morning. Dan, what about yourself? Any specials you want to give a quick mention to there?
Yeah, I've got a few actually. Unlike Paddy, I actually think this could turn into a war from the first bell. I really do. Actually, when this fight was first match made, I too was like looking at maybe Mayweather on points. I thought it'd be like longer. I couldn't really see him stopping Conor. I think 9 out of 10 Mayweather's last 10 fights have gone full 12 rounds, and that is the direction I was looking at. The more I've seen of this fight, I just think I can really see him going to war from the first bell. I don't think it's in Conor's interest at all to drag this out. I know you get loads of respect for going later in the fight with Mayweather. It's just I don't think that's even part of his mentality. He wants that knockout. He's going to go from it from the first bell. And with that in mind, yeah, I actually like under 6.5 rounds. I like.
That's 5-4 with Paddy Power, isn't it?
It's 5-4 with Paddy Power, yeah. I also like. I like the total knockdowns in this fight. I think I can see, and don't get me wrong, I can easily see a scenario where Conor is completely outclassed, and Mayweather catches him like off balance quite a lot. In that circumstance, you've got to understand the mentality of MMA athletes. They go down to the canvas a lot. They get dropped to the canvas a lot. I lost count of how many times Conor and Nate Diaz knocked each other down during their 2 fights recently, and both kept like getting back up, like proper like
tearing into each other.
Get back up every time. They shake off and go at it again. Like obviously there's no 10 count in MMA, but they're used to hitting a deck and getting back up and without any sort of like real repercussion. So I can see if Conor goes down, I can see him getting back up several times, for instance. If Mayweather goes down, he'll get back up, I'm sure. So with that in mind, I can see like I quite fancy total knockdowns, over 2.5 total knockdowns at 7-2 with Paddy Power. You can also, I think you can go higher all on those total knockdowns if you fancy that. But I can see there being a few and it carrying on in that vein. Whether it be one each or, like I say, like I could easily see a circumstance where Conor is the one sort of getting up off his bum quite a few times. But even the case, I can see him sort of getting that count a few times.
Yeah, I can't really see Floyd hitting the canvas, and I just want to make clear, I'm not trying to come across as a boxing snob here. I'm enjoying this build-up as much as anyone else. I love the circus aspects of it. I love all the videos that come out online. It's a bit of fun. It's entertainment, isn't it? And I don't hold it against the two boys for making a couple of $100 million. If I was in their position, I'd be doing the exact same thing.
Absolutely not.
I'd race against a horse. I'd swim against the shark.
Who doesn't like what fight? It doesn't fight for money as well. Of course, it's a money grab. We're like, what wouldn't we do for money? Of course.
Yeah, we all work and bet for money as well. Just a special I want to mention. I think Conor McGregor to land less than 30 punches at 4-6, I think is an absolute steal. For 2 reasons. I think if the fight goes into the later rounds, I don't think he will land many punches that matter. So less than 30 at 4-6. When you think of the likes of Juan Manuel Marquez, who's like a Hall of Famer first ballot, he landed less than 70 when he met Floyd Mayweather. Arturo Gatti, who's a brawler, which is the way Conor says he's going to fight, he landed only 41. Yeah. And Miguel Cotto, who's one of the best boxers of the last 10 years, possibly top 10 pound for pound over the last 10 years, he only managed to land 75 on Floyd. I know that was Floyd, he was more in his prime and he's 40 now, but nonetheless, like, these guys are all-timers.
So just to back you up on that, Jack, Connor's style of fighting, he will be looking for big single shots and big 1-2 combinations rather than multiple combinations, which would be more akin to a boxing style. With his MMA style, he will be looking for big power punches and single shots. So yeah, you could be on something there.
Yeah, Paddy, any other specials you want to mention before we take another break?
Well, a lot of people have been talking about whether it'll be like a disqualification or something like that. I personally can't see if that McGregor gets very frustrated and throws an out roundhouse kick by mistake. But
that's around 12-1 with Paddy Power, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. But the one thing that I did notice in the build-up, and it could just be kind of trash talk in inverted commas, but Mayweather did mention a couple of times when he saw McGregor sparring that a lot of his shots were illegal, like whatever way he was.
Them rabbit punches against Paulie Malignaggi in that 12-second video that has been the best marketing tool for the fight. 12 seconds released on Instagram, and people said, maybe there's a chance. I don't think there's a chance, but there might be a chance.
Dana White sitting there with rubbing his hands together like Dr. Evil, going, we have them. But it's 2-1. Neither player has a point deducted, and just maybe there's a chance of frustration later on. Like it's 2-1, you're not gonna get rich at 2-1. Like for a throwaway little silly bet, just have a side bet on the fight. Maybe a point deducted for either fighter. 2-1. I just think that could happen.
Yeah, well, in them videos, McGregor did look like he was fighting pretty dirty. He was holding down the head. He was rabbit punching Paulie Malignaggi. I know it's only 12 seconds. Floyd's been known to get involved in some roughhouse tactics himself. He's likely to hold McGregor if McGregor gets in too close. There's also if you remember the Victor Ortiz fight from 2011 when McGregor threw them very questionable punches that could have had him disqualified.
That's his only knockout in the last 10 years, which is it was a complete sucker punch. That's the only guy he's knocked out since Ricky Hatton.
Yeah, very dubious knockout, to say the least. He could have been disqualified. Really,
well, he should have been disqualified. Can I just make a point on the old disqualification thing as well? Conor McGregor's had a Hall of Fame referee, Joe Cortez, in his training camp in Las Vegas, I think for the last 4 weeks, where every sparring session he had, you will have seen it in those clips with Malignaggi, Joe Cortez has been in there and teaching. Maybe not like the rules of boxing, might be putting a bit bluntly, but the finer points of.
But even you say that, teaching him the rules of boxing, it's so insane, isn't it?
Well, it is
He's
insane.
literally teaching him the rules of boxing the week before a fight against Floyd Mayweather.
I think like more than the rules of boxing as such, what he's been doing, the intricacies of like in the clinches of like what referees are going to get like penalising for and not penalising. That said, I still I think Paddy Power have got 5-2 that Conor gets deducted a point at somewhere in the fight. And I quite like that because I can see, although he's going to push those rules to the limit, Conor. That's one of the reasons why he's got Joe Cortez. He wants to push those rules to those limit. And if he gets in, especially in clinch situations, he's going to really try to outmuscle and outstrength Floyd because I think he is definitely the stronger guy. But I don't for a second be thinking he's going to start roundhouse kicking him in the head or it's going to be some sort of Rocky III scenario like Thunder Lips versus Rocky where Hulk Hogan's just going to pick Sylvester Stallone up and slam him into a canvas. That's not going to happen. So I would really advise punters not to fall into any of those silly traps.
But also on that point though, I mean, everything we're saying suggests that McGregor won't care about points. He won't care about getting deducted points. He's all about a knockout, isn't he? He does. If he got beat on points, he kind of wins. Do you know what I mean? Because he went.
Well, he's kind of won already, hasn't he?
Yeah. So, but he's going for a knockout.
He wants that knockout. He wants that knockout.
He couldn't give a continental if he hurt Mayweather and got deducted a point. That'll be job done, I think, and then you come back out and try and finish him, So, I think that's a really good shout, it's the McGregor fight too,
Yep.
Okay, well, lads, we'll take a quick break and we'll come back with we'll take a quick look at the undercard and we'll guess the lads' naps.
Let's get ready to rumble! Paddy's gearing up for the big fight with this cracking offer. Sign up today and get a risk-free £10 bet on either Mayweather or McGregor to win and get your money back if your bet loses. New customers only. Max refund £10. T&Cs apply. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
Welcome back to the Racing Post Mayweather-McGregor Postcast. I'm Jack McCarran and I'm joined by Dan Williams and Paddy Power, who's over in Las Vegas. Paddy, before me and Dan came on air, we were talking about the undercard. Badu Jack taking on Nathan Cleverly and Gervonta Davis against Francisco Fonseca, I think his name is. I guess that there's not much talk, if any talk, in Las Vegas about those two fights going on. many people probably don't even know there's an undercard. It's all about McGregor and Mayweather. So have you heard any talk of those two?
No, I mean, is there undercards? But yeah, I know there's a few, like I think there's probably like a few singers singing and all that kind of stuff. And
Demi Lovato, I think, is going to sing the national anthem
and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, but it's obviously I'm aware of the undercard are right. I think from what I can gather, there's a few boxing people who were saying like, but kind of. Maybe it's a go to the top, but like a couple of taxi drivers have been like boxing snobs, if you like. No, I'm going to watch the undercards and I'm going to like turn off type thing for when the main event comes on, that type of stuff. But
anyone who says that is a liar. Like, let's be honest.
I know. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, yeah, well done, congratulations, that's great. Yeah, but by the looks of the betting, anyway, obviously Gervonta Davis is like 33 on or something, like very, very short odds. So that would obviously should win against Fonseca. And the other one looks a bit closer, Babu Jack against Nathan Cleverly. So Jack is 1-4 thereabouts, and Cleverly is about 3-1, I think. And so I think that one there might be a chance of it. So that's probably going to be the better fight. But honestly, I wouldn't even claim to know half of what I should know about the McGregor Mayweather fight. So I don't really have a ration about the undercard, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm just here. I'm the tourist. I'm here. I'm the terrible fan that's over here. Just
I can tell you a few little things, Paddy. First of all, I think like if boxing snobs want to take a turn their nose up at the McGregor versus Mayweather fight, they should have a long hard look at some of these so-called world title fights that are constantly on the television, and quite frankly are a joke. How Nathan Cleverly is involved in world title fights, I'll never know.
It's actually a good fight though, Cleverly Jack, I think.
Do you?
Cleverly, his last 2 fights, he's been involved in wars, which were great watches. Badu Jack coming up in weight, so this is the perfect fight for him to debut at 175, coming off wins against George Groves and a draw with James Gale.
I do like Badu. One of the most amazing things about Badu Jack, I think, his last 4 fights, I think he's had 2 draws, a majority decision and a split decision. Although one of the draws, I think, it was later changed to a victory because of a disqualification of his opponent.
Was it?
Yeah, whoever it was. But yeah, I mean, he always seems to go the distance, and I see Cleverly, for me, he's not the fighter he was when he was doing his maths degree.
Yeah.
He never seems to. Once he qualified from his maths degree, everything seems to go out the window. I'm not quite sure what happened there. Yeah, I'd take Badu Jack to win that on points.
Yeah, Badu Jack on points. I'd go for that as well, 5-6. And Gervonta Davis is just going to.
He's a tank. I mean, his nickname is Tank.
He's a beast.
He's a beast. He's like Mayweather's favourite, like prodigy. I don't know if you can call it a prodigy because he fights nothing like him. he fights like Mike Tyson. If anyone wants to watch a fight on the undercard, watch this because he's a killer. And the lad he's fighting as well, he's like got a good knockout record as well.
Yeah, so but he's never fought outside El Salvador, I'm almost sure. So
no,
this is his debut outside El Salvador.
If you look at the guys he's been fighting, I don't quite where he's been fighting nowhere near this level.
I reckon I'd probably take this guy to decision. I'd probably lose, but I'd take him to decision anyway. Anyway, we'll move on from them 2 points. And
I've got a quick tip in that one, actually.
Yeah, go for it.
Gervonta Davis rounds 1-3.
Yeah, good. So that's 75 at Paddy Power. Now, lads, before we get your naps, I just want to ask you one more question. And I want you to tell me what's the fight actually going to look like. In a few words, Dan, when the bell goes, what's going to happen?
When the bell goes, what's going to happen is that Conor McGregor just comes straight from Mayweather from the first bell. He'll look very, very... To anyone who's used to watching boxing and not watching him, like he's going to look very disjointed, and people are going to think, "Oh my God, what's he doing?" But his whole technique will be to bamboozle Floyd, and he's going to look to get those big shots off from the start. Going on from there, like his big chance is to nail him in the first 4 rounds. That's what he said he's going to do. That's what he will try and do. He will look to knock Floyd Mayweather out in those first 4 rounds. And it could turn interesting. Because Mayweather, I think, is going to puff his chest out and meet him in the centre of the ring and not take a backward step. Whether it be enough to catch Mayweather, I'm not sure. But what I will say is this is a very unusual fight, Jack. And I've got a feeling that in those first 4 or 5 rounds, we're going to get something very unusual happen. I've just got a feeling... like something bizarre.
What, like John Cena from wrestling and run into the ring and
I don't know what, but expect the unexpected. Expect the unexpected. And yeah, but I think it'll be over before 6.
Okay, Paddy, what does it look like before we get your nap? What are you expecting to see?
Funny, I think that Mayweather's been one of the most kind of strategic boxers during his career. Like he doesn't mind about a bore fest. He doesn't mind at all. It's all about the results. And I think McGregor obviously wants him to rush in and have a go at him, and I presume that his team are aware of that. And maybe I know he said that he's going to, but I don't think he will. I actually think he might stand back and try and get a look at McGregor's style and get it, because that's they say in all the stuff about it, written about him, that he just he adapts during a round, and when fighters try different things, he adapts straight away. Like he just has this sixth sense or whatever. So I'd say he just wants to get a look at how McGregor's moving and stuff, and then trying to adapt that. So I actually don't think. I think there's a chance that they just Mayweather just runs away from him for the first 20 seconds or something like that, and just kind of moves around the ring and dodges him a little bit or whatever. And then maybe throws a few jabs. I mean, I think there's a chance there's no punch throw for the first few seconds. I think we'd love to see the two of them just go at it, hammer and tongs in the middle. But Mayweather would just be bonkers if he did that. He's got to avoid the obvious chance of McGregor catching him at once. So
but don't forget, Paddy. Don't forget, he's under pressure from the entire boxing. Everyone thinks this is going to be such an easy fight for him. I don't know if he's got a lot of pride at stake in this. He might want to. Well, that's what we're hoping for.
And the other thing, is this weird or not? Just in the build-up, I don't have to read anything into this or not, but Mayweather's been relatively respectful of McGregor versus the other way around.
Selling the fight.
Been trash talking. What?
He's telling people that McGregor has a chance because he thinks that'll sell more pay-per-views, sell more tickets. If people think McGregor has a chance, and Mayweather has been saying that all through, he said, he's never ever said it before that he thinks he might lose. He's never said it before. He always goes, I'm going to win. But this time he's like, maybe I might lose. So I want to see it out in our heads.
He's even been saying that he's lost a couple of steps. He's not the same boxer he was as he was 2 years ago. He's not the same boxer as he was 5 years ago. Yeah, just today I saw he reckons he's lost a couple of steps. I mean, he looks fit as a fiddle. Okay. But he is 40.
I think what's going to happen just before we get to naps is once the bell rings, it's all going to descend into farce. It'll be an absolute bore fest. On Sunday morning and Monday morning in every newspaper, we'll complain, we'll say, how did we fall for this again? The same thing will happen to the Pacquiao fight, built up for 5 years. Utter disappointment. No one was happy except boxing purists who were like, it was a great defence performance. But no one will say that this time because he's fighting against an MMA fighter. That's what I think. It's on record now, but let's get the naps.
This will not be beaten.
Okay, Paddy, we'll come to you first. What's your best bet for Maymac?
I think Mayweather by KO or TKO. It's only 4-6, but I think that's very likely to happen for me.
Okay, and Dan?
I'm going to go for under 6.5 rounds at 5-4. I understand that it could turn into a total snooze fest. It could be a complete farce, but come on, give us a fight.
Yeah, it's the hope that kills you, though. That's the problem. It's the hope
we just
that kills you.
want to see him fight.
Anyway, for what it's worth, just to round off the treble, either fighter to have a point deducted. The two lads mentioned the reasons why. Yeah. It could happen, and it's 6-4. Yeah. I think that's great value.
I think that's good value.
But anyway, that's been the Mayweather-McGregor postcast. If you enjoy listening to that or any other postcast, don't forget to rate, subscribe, review us on iTunes, and join us again tomorrow for the weekend tipping.
Let's get ready to rumble! Paddy's gearing up for the big fight with this cracking offer. Sign up today and get a risk-free £10 bet on either Mayweather or McGregor to win and get your money back if your bet loses. New customers only. Max refund £10. T&Cs apply. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.